the year that you pick up all of the pieces and it finally makes sense. I mean, like the old version of just starting, stopping is literally completely dissolved for you now. And the fact of the matter is, you knew it all along. You knew that you were just giving yourself the ability to go through those different phases so that you can actually learn about what you were doing and also understand the meaning of going through the process. Because in order to really get through the process, you have to be willing to stretch your capacity. And you knew that all along. So you had people trying to convince you that your path, the way that you were taking, may have not been the way. You were looking at other people on social media, getting discouraged, feeling down, feeling, behind. You know what I mean? And it was so frustrating, but you stayed the course and you finally arrived. I mean, you literally did it. Like, you don't have to go back to that old script ever again, because it's almost, okay, think about a spiral. I want you to think about a spiral. So people sometimes when they're evolving, a lot of times when we're evolving, actually, we're spiraling up. It's all about our perception. It's all about how we view things, how we look at it, right? So if we're looking at this and we're going up, it's gonna seem like and feel like we're going through the same loops over and over again. But every time you get to those certain markers, you remember. It's like being lost in the forest, but you're marking where you're at, so that way like, okay, I've been at this tree, let me mark this tree with the leaf, and I'm gonna peel a piece off of it on the side so I can remember, right? Because we are natural. If we dissolve the buildings and get into the primal state, right, we're natural, like, hunter-gatherers, you know what I mean? We have a survival instinct. We know this internally, but it's hard because we have been so conditioned and programmed to take in just visually what we see. We forget that it's a whole nother, side to it, and that we're natural, our primal selves, that instinct, we don't allow to kick in sometimes, and we start to feel like, woe, it's me and what's going on, and I can't do this. But every time you've gotten into a situation where you had to show your strength, where you had to show, yourself that you are resilient, guess what? You've made it through it. I know you made it through it because you're watching this video. So you've made it through. Now you just have to look at things differently and realize that every time you came across that loop, you were setting up markers for yourself. So you were learning, actually viewing yourself third party, which is amazing, right? That you were able to do this, and when you looked at it, you were like, whoa, I did this before. I did this. I realized when I did this, worked out this way. And you start to understand patterns, right? You start to understand people more. You start to understand, more importantly, yourself more. Because I do believe that internally, once we connect with ourselves beyond anything else, internally, once we connect with ourselves, we then begin the process of evolution. Because everything that we think that we need is not typically what we need, but because we live in a consumerism society where we're just constantly looking externally, outside of ourselves, because that's the way that things work, here. But because of that, mentality, we forget that God is within us. And because God is within us, there's nothing that we cannot do. There's nothing that is off limits for us, right? And if you're watching this and you're like, yeah, wake up call, God is within us, but you knew that. That's how you were able to get through that season of your life. And now you're on the other side, but it's still fresh. It's still new. And it's still like, okay, I got to go ahead and level up. But I want you to just take a moment to pause and breathe and realize that this last chapter was a seal. It's bigger than just noticing patterns, evolving, and putting yourself, right, your future first, right, while being present and analyzing and evolving. It's bigger than that, right? I want you to know that was literally the test of all tests, that it's probably never going to ever be as hard as it was before. And it's because you had to, like, I truly and honestly believe that we're not going to get anything that we can't handle. So because of that, because of the capacity that was stretched, because of the mental resilience that was gained, and just really coming back to understanding who we are as beings, having this experience that you literally have collected tools that are going to serve you now for the rest of your life. And the beautiful part about it is it's not going to take long. Everything that you've done in that last season, the grueling process, the learning the routine, learning the fitness, and getting your mind right, understanding, meditating, and taking time for self-care, like really taking yourself on walks, taking yourself on dates alone, and just being able to sit in that, marking your progress, as a mom, and realizing like my babies are amazing and we get to do this together, going through the journey, navigating relationships, and being able to really activate the unconditional love, because even though you want it to be connected with, you can't connect with the unconnectable. And that's not, bash at anybody, because you genuinely love the people that you're connected to, or, around, right? Because you wouldn't be around them. You're the type of person that's like very selective, like with your energy. So I know you're not going to be around just anybody. But because the journey was a solo journey, you understood that they're on their own journeys, and you can't stretch other people's capacities to understand your journey. And to be completely transparent, every mentor, every person that I've ever seen who's done something that was worthwhile, I mean, beautiful, like changing lives, they talked about the walk of isolation, the journey of being alone. And it's not forever. It's a time where that you have to focus on being by yourself, because if you didn't, then their voices would override your internal voice, and things will go back into confusion. But that's the reason why you had to do this alone. It's not their journey. If it was meant for them to see it, then it'll be their journey, and honoring the fact that everybody is on their own mission is really what took off, what helped you really take the things that you're doing to the next level. Because without having that grace, like someone held the grace for you, without having that grace for other people, then I don't believe certain things will be given to you, in that way, given to us in that way. So I'm thankful, I'm grateful, right? But when you really look at it all in all, that burning desire, that knowing that if I just consistently go on this process and this journey, and if I consistently evolve, invest in myself, get around the right people, that are on my journey, that can help me, in a way. They've already done it, getting involved in, like I said, communities, and reading the books that need to be read. All of those things have now given you the key to completion and the next phase of your journey, which is now embodiment, which we'll talk about on our next video. If you are watching this, welcome back to another episode of Hire Her podcast. I'm your host, Coach Deza, and this is a safe space for you guys to really just allow yourselves to evolve, in all areas, and elevate in all areas of life, and also go along the journey with me. If this resonated with you and you'd like to connect with me, definitely feel free to reach out. If you are looking for a community that resonates with you, that can help you, that, can really be a pivotal, I would say, space to skyrocket your business, to skyrocket, your growth mindset, and help you take things to the next level. I couldn't find a space, so I created one myself, and also along with other top industry leaders like 7-figure mentors and sales mastery specialists and experts as well, because I know that when you are heart-led, it's sometimes hard to get into that business mind frame. So being able to be around individuals that understands business development, but also to wealth energetics and, authenticity, at its core, is super important. So you guys are along this journey with me. definitely check it out. If that's something that resonates with you, click the link below this video. I'll talk to you guys soon.